Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Terraria mod using tModLoader. So you're going to want to install tModLoader through Steam, and you're going to have to own Terraria, of course, and you're going to make sure that your version is at least 1.3.5.3. This video will not cover like 1.4 stuff. I don't know if the things will work or not. I'm not sure, but yeah. So basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit this mod sources button. If you don't have this button, you should have a button in the bottom right corner that says enable developer mode, I think. So you're going to want to click that, go through everything. I think you have to install Visual Studio Code and install like a Windows framework, Microsoft framework. Not sure, but yeah. But once you get through that, you should hopefully have this button. You might have to restart tModLoader, but you're going to want to click this, create a new mod. I'm going to be calling this tutorial mod. You can call it whatever you want. Make sure to like put no spaces when it says to put no spaces. And yeah, so and then this, you can name this is like the sword, which is the first thing we're going to be doing. And then create, and then head over to your IDE. I'm going to be using Visual Studio. I'm going to go over to documents, that's where you should start. Go to my games, go to Terraria, go to ModLoader, go to mod sources, and then your mod, which would be tutorial mod in my case, and then go to items and click on the sword CS file. And also in that folder, if I navigate back there is a PNG for the sword. It's a 40 by 40 PNG. It's transparent. So if you want to make your own, I would suggest making it like the same resolution, and then you could scale it like however you want to. You can make it bigger, make it smaller, it's up to you. And make sure that's transparent, or else there'll be like a white box around it. So now we can go back to Visual Studio, and yeah, so I'm gonna add using Terraria here. I'm not entirely sure if that's necessary, but doesn't hurt. So we're gonna uncomment this, and you can change this to whatever you want. This is gonna be the name of the sword, so I'm gonna leave mine as tutorial sword. And then this is the tooltip, which is basically like a description of the weapon of the sword. So I'm gonna be adding like an effect in a little bit to the sword, like a special thing that it does, and I can add that here later after I do it. But I'm just gonna be going through all of these, so a lot of these are self-explanatory, but I'll still go through them. This is damage. This is a boolean that checks, that's like saying that the sword, or that the item is a melee weapon. This is the width, this is the height, the use time, and the use animation. The use style, that's like the animation for like when you left click. This is the knockback that the sword deals, the value, the rarity, the sound that's produced when you left click, and auto reuse, which is like holding down left click. So I'm actually gonna add item dot use turn. I believe this is already set to true, but I don't know if someone will want this off or not. Probably not, but basically what this does is it allows you to turn when you're swinging the sword, or else if you have this default, you won't be able to turn. Just the sword would just be swinging in the same direction. But yeah, so I'm actually also going to change this to item dot sell price, not items, item dot sell price, and then I said like gold 1, silver 50. You can also like add platinum, and you can add copper as well. And the rarity, so this can actually be like 2, and I think the equivalent of 2 is item rarity ID dot green. So a lot of these like ID things, you can look them up. Like you can just look up Terraria and look up like sound ID, item rarity ID, and the list will come up with all these things, and you can find like the value, or you can just use this. I prefer to use this because it, I don't know, it looks like you can understand it better. Because like just reading ID numbers, it doesn't really tell you anything, especially for like buffs and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna change this to like 150 damage, and yeah, I think I'm gonna move on to the next part. So add recipes, so you can basically create like a recipe. So this is like how to craft the weapon. So I'm actually gonna make a second recipe, so because multiple items have like, or some items have multiple recipes in the game, so I'm gonna like show you how you can do that. So that should not be, that should just be mod. Alright, and I can't have this as the same, or else it'll just create the same recipe, so I have to change this to recipe 2, and I have to reuse recipe 2 and add an ingredient, and you can use item ID dot like stone block, and then this is like the first parameter is what the block is, and the second one is the number of blocks that you want. So I'm going to say 15. I'm going to add another ingredient. I'm going to add snow blocks. I'm going to add 15 as those as well. I'm going to add a tile, which is basically like where you can craft that. If you don't include this, or if you set it to null, I think, but I would just not include it if you want to do this. You'll basically be able to craft this wherever you want, just like torches. Like you don't need a crafting bench. But if it's a weapon, you should definitely need a crafting bench or something of that sort. So we're going to set that to workbenches. So you can also probably look up tile IDs Terraria in order to like find the other ones for like maybe a demon altar and stuff like that. And I also need to make this recipe 2, and then I need to set the result of this like recipe equal to this with this keyword, which is basically just going to take all of this for recipe 2, and it's going to add the recipe. So after that is done, both these recipes should work. And now I'm going to add a method. So using the documentation, you can find like a lot of methods. I'll have a link in the description that'll send you to like a GitHub page that has links to like a bunch of good places for making mods. Like it has documentation, has starter guides, easy guides, intermediate guides. Yeah, it's great. And yeah, so I'm going to be making this method public override void on hit NPC. So this is kind of self-explanatory. It's basically when you hit an NPC, and then these are the parameters. So it's gonna be a player named player, a target NPC named target, an int of damage, a float of knockback, and a boolean of crit. And so I'm going to be making it so that when the sword hits an enemy, that the enemy receives a debuff of Ichor, and then the player receives a buff of swiftness. And this should, I'll set them for 5 seconds. So we're going to first do the player, so we're going to do player.addBuff. So the buff ID, again, you can search these up, and you can make sure that, no, not Ichor, it had swiftness, but you can search these up, like using buff ID Terraria, and you can find all these. You can use the numbers instead of this whole thing as well, because there's IDs, but you can just use the number instead, but I prefer to use this because it's easier to read. But we can use target.addBuff, buff ID, and then iCore 300. So the 300, I said 5 seconds, so since there's 60 frames in 1 second, 300 divided by 60 is 5, so this is 5 seconds for each. On each hit, you'll be given this. So yeah. So if you're done like changing all your values, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to head over to tModLoader, click build and reload, and it seems that we have an error. It seems that an S was added to my line 29. Seems that an S was added over here for some reason. It was also made capital. Yeah, so watch out for that. If I retry this, workbenches, seems like I misspelled that. Alright, sorry, my bad. We all make mistakes though, so. Alright, so the next thing that you're gonna want to do is you're gonna head over to single player. I'm gonna create a new character. Let's do random. Okay, that looks good, I guess. Tutorial character. Use this, create a new world. Let's do small, normal, random, tutorial world, and that world's going to generate. And so basically I'm just going to be testing the sword, showing you stuff, and in later videos I'll probably be getting to like a bow, maybe a gun, some armor, an accessory, and those type of things. And you guys can leave comments like saying what you guys want me to do, but yeah. So I'm gonna go to tutorial world. And yeah, so let me actually turn off those diagnostics. I can find the button. Alright, I don't know if I can, but the point, so one thing that you should really have when you're playing this is you should have, the mods that you should have on are like, cheat sheet, like recipe browser. I know cheat sheet's like a really good one to have, like even the tModLoader recommends it, just because it gives you like god mode and access to items. So like, I'm just gonna mine dirt real quick, and if you can remember, our recipe was 10 dirt, so I'm just gonna get a workbench, place it down, close this, and as you can see, our sword is right here. It says 150 damage. And I almost did forget to do something, but so I wanted to actually head back over here. So we added these buffs, so I'm actually gonna add it in a tooltip here. So I'm gonna do this for a new line, and I'm gonna add inflicts iCore on hit and gives the player swiftness on hit, and we can put for like 5 seconds. I'm gonna put a new line. save this. I actually have to exit the world. So every time you want to save a change, you have to go here, build and reload. Or you can just double click it and it shouldn't take too long. Then you head over to your character, world, you're back in. So yeah, as you can see, the sword does 150 melee damage. And our like tooltips are there. And yeah, so let me actually test this. So let me actually give myself some armor, because the sword is not going to like not one, it's just gonna one shot like anything. So I'm gonna solar flare armor. And yeah, so now that I have that, I'm gonna get some wings as well. That's why this mod is so good, because you're able to easily access like anything that you need. But yeah, and it just, yeah, so you don't have to like do any of the work to it. And I'm also gonna test the second crafting recipe, which was snow and stone. So I'm gonna get some stone, I'm gonna get some snow, and as you can see, I can craft it with stone and snow right there. 15 stone and snow. Stone and snow, not snow. But yeah. But yeah, let me spawn a boss real quick using this. That's what also is good about this. So I'm gonna spawn King Slime. And as you can see, he turned green from the eye core. And as you can see, we also got swiftness for 5 seconds on each hit. Even though it says 4 seconds, because it starts off at 5 and it ticks down. Like, so this is on the second, but yeah. So let's just finish him off. Kill everything here. And yeah. So yeah, that's basically the basics of this, of what I have to show you in this video. I'll probably make like a bow. I am going a little bit slow, by the way, but if you guys want me to go like a little bit faster in the tutorials, I can do that. But yeah, I'm going to be making a bow. I can make armor, accessories, like with set bonuses and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.